protest we had to the specifics of the water lawsuit settlement. 600 million. Me and Mayor Weaver and others thought it should be 1.6 billion or more. We believe that there shouldn't have been a $1,000 cap on certain grown folks and residents. I even look at the category of distribution for children. 6 and under, maybe a high percentage of the money will go there. Whatever age they would be now, if they were 6 then, they'd be about 15 now. But it was all categories of children that was affected. Adults, property owners, business owners. My position is that they're wrong to put a cap there. Attorneys came in, they taken 200 million off the top or so. I don't mind attorneys getting their fees, but you know, take it off of 2 billion, not 600 million. You had politicians, we in office in the middle of our fight. They agreed to settlements that shouldn't have happened. No, or will it pay out next year? Will there be other defendants who will make it up to the grown folks and only $600, $700, $800. So we'll continue to object to that. We'll continue to fight for justice and equity in these civil settlements. And that's just one of the fights 9 years later. Thank you so much.
He just stepped right in front of me,
We're gonna have
set his camera up.
We've got environmental transformation, or
Dude.
environmental transformation movement in Flint for environmental justice.
Let me show you what just happened.
Hi everyone,
This
my
guy.
name is Mona Monroe Eunice from the Environmental Transformation Movement of Flint. And I want to talk about the water crisis in the context of environmental justice and how it links to these other things as well that we keep experiencing in our community. So the fact that Flint was targeted and was held hostage to financial, trying to save money for companies and for the state over our lives and public health is an act of environmental racism. And the fact that it's taken so long for the settlement to come to us is an act of environmental racism. And the fact that there was a cover-up is an act of environmental racism. There are so many aspects to the water crisis that can't just be thought about in terms of just social justice. This is an intentional targeting of our community as a predominantly Black community. And so we cannot forget that context, not only for the cover-up of the water crisis and how long it took to have a robust response and still an incomplete response, but the fact that it's been dragged out for 9 years and we're not seeing justice yet. And then at the same time, we've had these other environmental justice threats because of the same culture of lack of care for people of color. We've had Lockhart Chemical Company create a spill on the Flint River, which can affect subsistence fishers in our community and anybody wanting to find some enjoyment in life around the river. That's part of our health too, right? Is being able to recreate in our community. And then we have the Ajax asphalt plant, which is decided to locate across from Flint in an area that already has one of the highest asthma hospitalization rates in the state, according to state data. And we said you need to move to a different location that's not going to impact predominantly people of color. And the EPA said the same thing in a letter of public comment, and they didn't care. So part of what we need to talk about is this culture of lack of care around our community and around people of color, and this intentional, ongoing assault of environmental racism that's happening to our community. So it's really important to understand this, because this isn't just some kind of one-off, you know, this water crisis happened and we have to move on. Like, there are ongoing environmental justice facets to it today. So if you know me, you know I always talk about how I have an autoimmune disease now because of the water crisis, right? This is gonna affect my life forever. And it creates an internal inflammatory response. So I have a higher chance of stroke and heart attack and everything. But this is mostly seen on the outside. I think of all the children who are growing up now with lead poisoning, adults, older adults who are having memory loss. This is affecting people of all ages, as Councilman Mays has said. So I think it's just really important to understand that this is an ongoing case of environmental racism. It's not over, and we need to call on the state to put policies in place to stop being complicit. These are not neutral acts, right? These are not neutral acts. So I'm gonna leave it there. But I wanna continue the conversation inside, so I hope you'll stay with us this afternoon. Thank you.
You really don't give a fuck, do you?
Thank you, Mona.
Mate,
Next we
my
have
story will go to millions
Tomas
of people.
Tello
And mine doesn't.
from the Flint Public
You don't know who I
Health
am.
Youth Academy.
With all due
Or
respect, I'm
he's
here to
a
help.
Flint Public Health Youth
You're not
Academy
helping me.
intern.
Well, move around a
community
little bit.
advocate.
You can't even see her, dude. You can't even
And
see
area
her.
facing,
Dude, I was here.
the Latinx community.
Good morning, good morning. Can everyone hear me all right? Well, hello everyone. My name is Tomas Teo, and though these are very troubling, you make this taller, sorry. But though these are some very troubling times for our community, it's just great to see each and every one of you here today to express your concern and care and willingness to engage in proactivity for the next generation, for the other youth that are out there in the community. And thank you for the introduction. As she stated, my name is Tomas Teo. I'm a Flint native, a Flint student, and a member of the Flint Public Health Youth Academy. Thank you, Ms. Melissa Mays, and all the other figures who helped mentor me and many other youth. So, just 9 years. That's just something that really has surprised me, 9 years. When we look back at some historical moments in our country, 4 years is how long it took for World War I. 6 years, how long it took for World War II. And now 9 years. And now many of those conflicts happened across seas and other territories and regions, yet a large battle that we're facing is taking 9 years, and it's within our own borders here in the city of Flint. And that's just mind-blowing to me. And, you know, the math is not adding up. You know, I think that I really want everyone today to be more proactive, to keep up in the fight for advocacy, and not just doing it for a photo opportunity, but being authentic about it, inviting youth to the table to help make change, because ultimately we can help voice for what's happening in our schools, what's going on, and just to promote, you know, advocacy. And just also want to highlight a community that's often overlooked, the Latino community and many of the immigrant community as a whole, whether they be from Latin America or anywhere across the world. Immigrants have contributed to this melting pot of the country, yet we are being melted away and forgotten about. So I just want to highlight the importance that immigrants bring to the table, and just to not forget about them, because oftentimes there's been a lack of access to information, whether it be about resources that are available to the community or even what is going on in the community as a whole. A lot of people are kept out of the loop due to the language barrier that we see prevalent, and that's just very unfortunate. Immigrants matter too, and yeah, I just wanted to highlight that as well. But as I stated, just as Saginaw Street is being repaired right now, I want you all to join in that journey. Take your part. The Highway of Revolution has many lanes of change, so take your part in it. Grab your brick so we can paint that road to a better future for the next generation here in Flint. So, you know, I'm confident seeing you all here today. You all inspire me and the other youth, so I just wanted to say, with that being said, on behalf, thank you, of the city of Flint, to, you know, just keep it up. Keep up the work after this event, after any press conference, meeting, whatever it may be, to be truly authentic in the pathway to change, inviting youth, and just cooperating and gathering along together. So with that being said, when I say Flint, you guys say rising. Flint! Rising! Flint! Rising! Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. Next we have Brother Jaleel with the Peacekeepers Global Initiative, Flint Chapter, Unity and Peace.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Peace to everyone that is here. We are standing here on these grounds 9 years later after a conspiracy took on to poison the water of the city of Flint and its residents. And those of us who've been here from the beginning, who lived in the city of Flint and who suffered from the water, we're still suffering, not only because of what took place, but because the people who are in charge and the people who are invested or divested in this conspiracy are moving like turtles and snails. Right. And then we have those outside of them who refuse to unite and work together for a common goal in order to bring about a change that harms everybody equally, no matter who you are, if you're a resident of the city of Flint. Right. So I implore us to put aside all differences, put aside all egos and pride, put aside what you think is right, what you believe to be right, and stand on what you know is right. Yeah. And that's that every human being on the planet deserves to have clean, pure flowing water come into their home, take a bath, wash clothes, and feed their children. Now, in closing, I just want to express, some people know, but a lot of don't know. When the water crisis hit 5 months later after we switched to the Flint River, my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. She was on leukemia. She was taking Vincristin, which is a liquid form of chemo, for 3 years. And during that 3 years, she lost her hair twice. She remained at 33 pounds for the whole 3 years, couldn't gain no weight. And all I could hear was people bickering about whose fault it was, who should do this, who should do that. But I seen no real love for the people that were suffering, to where we put aside the bickering and the disagreements and we put in love for what's going on, and we apply that love so that people can see a change taking place. And after it's done and the change happens, then you can go bicker and fight. But let's get the progress and the work of the city of Flint done first before we fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaleel. Next we have
democracy pivotal in the water crisis. In fact, one could argue that it is one of the causes of the water crisis. So how many attempts does it take to subvert the will of the people and eliminate the democratic process? These public acts effectively eliminate democracy, privatize and outsource our public resources. They undermine collective bargaining and workers' rights, and most devastatingly of all, especially for the residents of Flint, they transfer publicly owned assets to private and corporate interests. And they're supposed to be done for financial reasons, but often these assets are sold for pennies on the dollar to the lowest bidder, not the highest. This was ostensibly to save money or balance the local budget, but of course we know that is not the intention or the outcome. Instead, what the people of Flint were left with was even more debt, an illegal bond deal and repayment plan to chase JP Morgan that continues to take over half of the water and sewer bills that residents pay, and the privatization of the majority of the city's assets, including our Santa Claus, and most devastatingly of all, our stake in the Great Lakes water rights. In other words, they effectively privatized and gave away the people's right to water. 9 years later, we are still repaying the illegal bond deal to chase JP Morgan. Our water system is still not stable, nor are we assured that it is 100% clean and safe. And now, the task that we are being asked by the government and public officials is to trust them. What will it take for us to be more confident? Well, how can we trust this? It's not a matter of trust. Be trustworthy. So, on a more positive note, to follow up on Brother Tomas, what can we do? This isn't just a criticism of all that's transpired and all that's taken place. We still demand the elimination of all forms of the financial emergency manager law in all of its inceptions. That's been an original demand and it still stands. To this end, we stand in support of Brenda Carter of Pontiac in her efforts at repealing the emergency manager law, and we're begging you to help us with this and to do the same. It's time to do right by Flint. This is only one step in the process to make us whole. Thank you.
All right, guys, I got to take off. I got some stuff to do back at the studio. I just could not pass up the opportunity to share that with you. I was driving home, and if there's a rally in your neighborhood, you got to participate. So I hope you enjoyed it. Man, I wish they'd have gave out a phone number. All right, dudes.